Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Gustav's vlog, and pretty much doing what we've been doing. I think I'm going to make some minor exercise adjustments this next block of course though. But again, so we focus on a 4-day split for him. And again, I want people to remember we are chasing physique. For him, strength is just a means to an end, but keep that in mind. Even my guys with bodybuilding goals and aesthetics goals, we're still going to do the basic barbell lifts, right? Right? So let's get over and talk about it. Sorry, I was laughing at something else. I apologize. But so we do bench press, we do incline bench, and then we do decline dumbbells for him for chest. This setup works really, really well. I had him doing some pullovers. He just doesn't feel them. He doesn't like them. They're not comfortable for him. So I'm like, okay, we'll take them out. We'll do a decline press, which has worked much, much better. He hasn't given me permission to release physique update photos. He's still not necessarily wanting to make them public. He did a physique update this last week. Dramatic improvements, by the way. So we've gained muscle everywhere. He looks like he's recomped a little bit. So we're very, very happy with this progress. And this is exactly, what we should expect to see, And this is, again, exactly what we want. Exactly what we want. So he is flowing along really, really nicely. And as a coach, I'm very happy with the progress we've seen visually. So we know that we're on the right track. Now, keeping in mind, he trains hard, right? He trains hard. He uses good form on everything. So I want people to note that we tend to use really good form. He's strict. And that is one perk when I'm dealing with someone like this, to where they just don't have an ego. And I like this. They don't have an ego with their lifting. Because again, I am all about strength, but I'm also tell people, look, ego lifting is not the way. Everything needs to be tight. Everything needs to be strict. But in his mind, he gets it, because for Gustov, he is purely chasing muscle, right? And he understands that, well, if we don't have tension on the muscle, I'm not making the gains that I want, right? So this is what we're trying to do. So he tends to do full range of motion. He tends to do good form, and he'll take sets real close to failure or to failure, depending upon what I ask him to do. So again, very consistent, and so I'm happy with that. So then you guys see that on the press day, we of course finished with some press downs. I like press downs. I think they're just a good general purpose tricep exercise. If you don't know what tricep exercise to do for hypertrophy, I think press downs with a rope or a V-bar are always a fantastic choice to finish after doing a bunch of pressing. Now keep in mind, there is extra tricep work through the week because he overhead presses with progressive overload. Then our back work hits some of it. So again, for people who are like, it's a little light on the triceps, but it really isn't. And his triceps are not a weak link. His chest is a weaker link for him than triceps. So as we get stronger on all the chest pressing, which we do a lot of it, right? We do a lot of it. So what happens then? Well, I'll tell you what happens. The triceps still get more stimulus from the chest getting stronger. So we're in a good place. Now, I will say this week, I added more bicep work, because that is an area to where I'm going, okay, we're chasing aesthetics, so we need a little more bicep. So we did 2 bicep exercises this week, because we don't get a ton of bicep work from his pulling, because it's all hammer grip or overhand grip. So you'll notice we do weighted pull-ups, which he progresses on, does a nice solid range of motion. Then we're doing the seated cable rows, because again, barbell rows really nauseate him, so we're working with that. And then he does the incline dumbbell rows. So notice we hit the back from 3 different angles: horizontal pull, vertical pull, right? And then we have one to where he's at that slightly higher angle, so we work the upper back a little bit. All right, for curls, we're keeping it very, very basic here. We do a nice strict barbell curl, right? And we have good form on it, nice strict barbell curl. And then now I've added in for him preacher curls, okay? Because again, I want to get a second bicep exercise in, right? I want to get a second bicep exercise for him, because I want to make sure they're growing. Again, guys chasing aesthetics, so our pecs and biceps are going to be a big priority. Now, his back has come along really well. And I know people are like, well, he's not that big, because he's overall not that big yet. But proportionately, we have a good V-taper now. I've now seen the physique updates. He's got a good V-taper going. So that back is coming along. It's wide. He's got a good V-shape. I do want to get it thicker. I want to get it a lot thicker. But we're doing deadlift variations. We're doing row variations. Like it's going to get thicker. I feel like I'm going to want to start pushing that a little harder though for him. But we have two types of rows. I may take him over to volume, work on an RDL, and pull the normal deadlift for now. I'll think about it, but I don't know that I really want to do that. And the reason is the deadlift itself is really, really, really good for back hypertrophy itself. There's pretty good data on that. So if I want that thickness up there, I do have to factor that in. So if anything, I might work up to a little bit more deadlift volume, right? A little bit more deadlift volume for him. So again, I might take those, adjust those reps a little bit. So I want to see if I can get that back a little bit thicker. But really, biceps and chest are going to be the big focus for him. And everything else has come along. Like I have a shoulder day, which we oftentimes want for a drug-free guy chasing a physique. So this is our shoulder day. But his delts are actually doing really well. I'm pleased with the shoulder development in the update picture. So really happy with him. And like I said, I'd show him, but he's not quite ready for them to be released yet. And so until he's ready, we're not going to do that. But so again, we start the shoulder day with a strict press. We do an upright row. So we get our two nice big compounds in, right? With strict, nice ranges of motion, slow progressive overload. Then, of course, what else do? We finish up with isolation work for them, right? So we hit the side delts and the rear delts. Very straightforward. Now, people are like, don't you love front delt work? I do love front delt work, especially for my power lifters. In his case, though, we do incline bench. We do overhead pressing. And then we do all this other shoulder work. In his case, I may not throw any in yet. I would rather continue to work the side and rear delts for him. Now, if we get to a point where I really need to push that area up, then I'll throw in the front raises if they become necessary. Like I said, I like them. You guys know I'm a fan of them personally. I like front raises. In fact, I might work them back into my own routine. But in his case, I don't feel that I necessarily need them because we do incline and overhead every week plus the upright rows. That's a lot of front delt work. It's a lot of front delt work. But again, it's not a weak link for him, right? It's not a weak link for him. So then back squats, we're staying around 6 reps. So I'm having him doing back down work. So it was getting to where we were struggling to replicate sets all the way through. So I want him to keep progressing. So I'm staggering the sets, as you guys saw. So we're doing 115 kg for these high bar squats, and then I drop him down to 105. He managed to get 6 on every set. That's not uncommon. Once we start getting stronger, it's not uncommon for that to happen, by the way. Okay, so just be aware of that. People need to always be aware of those things. So as you start to get stronger, replicating set to set on squats can be difficult. So in this case, I'm taking 10 kilograms off and then having him get as many reps as he can without failing. So it ends up still being around 6 all the way through. So we have a nice top set, then a little bit of back down. Deadlifts here, of course, we just do one top set. We're around 4 reps. I am considering reducing this and having him do 3 sets just for the extra volume. I feel like his work capacity is good enough, his form's good enough, we can probably do this. And it may be reasonable. So it's something I'm going to work with a little bit for him, I think. Maybe in this coming block. I want to see if I can just get that back thicker, right? I want to start getting the back a little bit thicker for him now. Then, of course, after that, we do leg presses, and then we do seated hamstring curls. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.